These have been up here for, geez, a month and a half. I haven't even really looked at them. Crazy how a living thing that was your best friend for over a decade just becomes a bag of ashes like this.
Now it's just an empty house. No hey babe, no bow wows, no tail wag, no big hug. Those golden eyes were my drug. This silence is so loud. I keep on to make you proud. I choose virtue for the afterlife. See you both again in those golden eyes. I didn't understand until I left home. A dorm room replaced my parents' abode. Family in a building of stone and wood, morphed to a gang of us up to no good. Home was no more and every new place felt a temporary structure in which I dwelt. Nothing permanent, nothing warm. A bed and a shower in some new form. First home was the womb. Our last home's a tomb. How long of a stay before it's more? What makes it different than the stay before? Maybe the stops and stays are homes. Maybe they're just stepping stones. Maybe home is the road we've seen. Adventure, journey, the in-between. Garages I had were my personal stable. As much horsepower as I was able. The more cars I drove, the more bikes I rode. Found where I belong, that place was the road.
I love riding into a sunrise. Something about it, the start of a new day. Maybe as much as, hey, you survived another night than anything. About a month later than I really wanted to, but the doctor appointments screwed all the planning up for me. So this time I want to actually take my time, more of a Ferris Bueller approach to it, see what's out there. And instead of being on a crotch rocket balled up like a monkey fucking a football, it'll be on something more appropriate for long distance rides. Now heading right into the heart of Houston. I am not here for the Aerosmith tickets with my loser friends. It's not the top priority of the summer. Used to have quite a bit of fun in Houston when Ford lived here years ago. Always be polite to semis. It's not an easy job they do, and you got a lot of mass you're responsible for there. I watched too much Smokey and the Bandit growing up and figured everybody with a heavy foot is good to be friends with the truckers. Cruising over Henderson Swamp right now. Always kind of fascinating to look out at that. Imagine, it's like a lake or river, but you got all these trees growing out right in the middle. Long day in the saddle, but I am finally cruising through the streets of New Orleans, looking for my hotel. Finally.
Blackbird, shy green, knew he'd grow into those feet. With pets his nose would rise. He adopted us with those golden eyes.
I remember how excited we were driving up to get Baron that first day, the German Shepherd rescue up there. But we saw Baron, who was actually called Jacob at the rescue, just cuteness overload, and he had this kind of shy attention for us. And just like the sunshine, I was hooked the minute I saw those golden eyes. That was probably the happiest day of my life. Not just this 26 pounds of fur and joy in the back seat, but just seeing how happy Sunshine was, the look in her eyes, such a pure joy. Once he got in the apartment, he kind of sniffed around, checking out his new home, and quickly attached himself to Sunshine, just sitting on the floor, cuddling up against her. The more comfortable he got, pretty soon he got his burst of puppy energy, and hell, next thing he was jumping around, playing with her, and just the best day I ever watched those two play on the floor like that. Just such pure, simple joy. Best decision I ever made. Well, or got talked into by her, I guess. Bringing Baron into our homes, our lives, our hearts like that.
Just left the hotel in New Orleans and I'm headed toward Destin. No police escorts out of bars this time. I call that a win. Definitely feeling a lot better getting back on the bike today versus getting off of it yesterday. Man, that was rough. But to be fair, that's the first time I've ridden more than a couple hours on a motorcycle since 11 years ago when I did the cross country. The piss and blood, that's concerning because as long as it's just a one-time deal, the biggest concern I had really was the sharp chest pains. And I know they say that's a sign of a heart attack. I'd like to hope it's not or wasn't a heart attack. Even having those chills getting out of the shower afterwards last night, I know it was just the heat exhaustion, and it's pretty obvious I'm gonna get over that. But just hydrating a little bit, getting out to eat something with my buddy, having something salty and more water made a huge difference. Felt a lot better today. Went for a walk around New Orleans, got to see Bourbon Street. Well, I found Bourbon Street. Now I just need to find that whorehouse with a hooker, some acid, and a graveyard. Hopefully you get that movie reference, or I sound like a complete degenerate. Bought a handful of Gatorade and salty snacks. Had those in the room, ate a late lunch, got for some rest. Had the biggest oysters I'd ever seen and the best shrimp and grits I've ever eaten. Real spicy, good flavor. Definitely see why they say the food is the #1 attraction in the city. Figure I might as well hit the road, get on over to Florida. There's the pins and needles on the hands. It's not bad yet, but if it starts needling them a little bit too much, I'll just get the gloves out. I believe I'm going into Mobile, Alabama. I think that's where this is. Getting ready to go through the tunnel. Oh, that sounds nice. Nice to have this too in case a sneaky gator or deer wants to run across here. Or bear or Floridian. At least I should be fairly safe from the cocaine sharks up this far on ground. Oh, this is it. Florida state line. Florida man, activate. I'm officially in Destin. Looks like a typical Florida city. All your various beach-themed restaurants and bars. I'm sure they have their section of town like most Florida cities too, where it's liquor store, tattoo shop, pawn shop, strip club, every block kind of repeating. Oh, and now it starts raining on me. Almost made it. Damn. 10 minutes away and the downpour comes. Grr. Oh, it does say Miramar Beach. Oh, tattoo shop. Wine and liquor. Just need a pawn shop and a strip club and it'll be complete. Let's see. Is this it? Yeah, Marriott Courtyard. There we go. Made it. Guess I'm walking around the hotel barefoot. It's Florida, come on.
Destin Beach, Florida is famous for its gorgeous sugar sand beaches. However, the weather wasn't exactly cooperative, so we didn't get much beach time.
Leaving the hotel in Destin, Florida this morning and heading off to Jacksonville. I've heard this whole 98, 30A and all that is really a beautiful ride, but I've also heard that the traffic on it is absolutely insane. So I'll probably end up skipping it, although I'm sure it's a beautiful scenic ride. Oh shit. But the weather isn't exactly great for sightseeing today anyway. It's not the first time I've been caught in the rain on a bike, and won't be the last. It's definitely coming down now. I was coming back on that original Aprilia from Daytona to Jacksonville one time, and it was ball busting rain. And I was trying to be safe and go about 80 or 90, and a Lexus sedan decided to blow past me at 120, so I followed him at 120 all the way back to Jacksonville. Never had any issue as far as traction goes or anything, weaving in and out of lanes. The next day I actually noticed the tire was flat on the back. When I rotated it around, not only did I find a nail in it, but I also saw threads most of the way around it. There is something very calming about looking out over the water from a motorcycle, even in shizen weather like this. It's hard to replicate it in a car too. There's something about being on a bike, see the rain hitting your hands, feel it. Much more of a tactile experience. Feel the wind blowing you around and hear it. Just did a quick gas stop at Tallahassee and back on the road. Finally in the city of Jacksonville again. And since I grew up watching Final Destination, I will be getting out of the way of whatever that thing's carrying so nothing flies off and takes me out. Butler Bridge, driving over the ditch or the intercoastal. Bouncy, bouncy. Big ol' line of palm trees. Warm rain isn't so bad. It's the cold rain that's miserable. Here's the hotel, Element. Right next to the McDonald's in case I want to eat that and shorten my life even more. I got poured on most of the way this last stretch, which is fine. Everything's soaked, even the 20 in my pocket is just soaked. So I hung the gear up here, hopefully it dries before I take off. Boots will be a little moist, maybe a ride if I get some clear weather tomorrow will help dry them out. I'm taking off from the hotel and heading through the beach area to the first of the 4 locations of this trip. I'm choosing this location because it's meaningful for a couple of reasons. For one, years ago when I broke the cross-country bike record, this is the exact spot where I ended that ride. That moment, I'd just become the best in the world at what I loved most, riding a motorcycle fast. And secondly, this is also the same location where Tracer had done me a favor because I couldn't make it out and scattered the last of Sunshine's ashes right here at this spot as well out in the water. Couldn't ask for a more beautiful morning. See the sun up there warming the water, warming the beach. It's almost like Sunshine herself is up there happy and excited.
ready to welcome Baron to be back with her again. Boy meets girl, 20 toes curl. We join at the heart till death do us part.
Baron's last swim.
Couple meets dog, they hike, swim, and jog, all glued from the start.
Swim out the sunshine, buddy. She is right out there. What you go?
No more gold eyes till death reunites. The last time I was able to bring Baron out here to this beach, I remember it being kind of dark and rainy and overcast in the evening. We were about the only ones out there, and he just took off in one of his kind of zoomies with mouth open and tongue hanging out, like he was just smiling and couldn't be happier. And that sight of a dog that happy is so contagious. You can't help but just smiling right along with them at their level of happiness and how easily they're entertained, and they're just sheer source of joy all the way. Thunder down the road under my crotch, but old Holly's word known as being top notch.
That next Monday after getting Baron, we had him baby gated into the kitchen where it was a non-carpeted floor just in case he had a mess. When I came home to check on him at lunch, he met me at the front door wagging his tail, and I was eager to play with his new human, and it's like, how'd he do that? So I put him back in the baby gates and watched him. It took him about 30 seconds to scale that baby gate, hop right over. So I guess that was the end of trying to contain him. That was also about the end of him trying to sleep in a kennel too. And part of establishing his dominance in the domain was destroying the non-functional pillows of Sunshine's. But it was so fun watching him. He'd grow like 10 pounds a month, and he didn't realize how big he was getting because he used to slide and hide under a chair. Well, suddenly he was too big to go under there, and he got stuck one day. That first fall we had him, we took the wagon up to Iowa and saw my folks. And then we went to Colorado a couple times at least. And it was great. We could haul the motorcycle on a trailer behind it. One of the trips to Colorado, Sunshine and her dad took the cardio challenged Baron and I on like a 4-mile hike up Arthur's Rock or Arthur's Point, something like that. Got up and Baron and I just collapsed at the top. But once we started breathing again, the view was stunning up there. And Baron also pulled me down a rock on the way down the trail, sprained my ankle, swelled up like a melon, which made it a little difficult trying to squeeze it into my motorcycle boot the next day to ride, but it's all just part of the adventure though. Every weekend we were kind of, it depends on her work schedule, but we try to do something, at least go see a park or do something together, get him out and enjoy the fresh air. It made it very easy for us to just be really happy. Leaving the hotel in Jacksonville, I really enjoyed being back in Jax. Nice weather. It's hot, yes. Overall, it's really nice, and Jax Beach has improved a lot since when I was here. There's a lot more upgrades to the old places. There are new places that I hope survive. Now I'm heading on to Daytona Beach, south of here, go get my stem cell treatment. Surfer Bar used to be the Freebird years ago, owned by Van Zant's wife or something to do with Leonard Skinner, as they were from here. Puppy. I suppose the beach is good for motivation. If you know you're going to be out in swimsuits a lot of the time, probably provides a little bit of a healthy push to make sure you're taking care of yourself and looking your best. It's not a bad thing. Ultimately, it leads to being healthier, not just looking better, then the ends kind of justify the means in that case. Beachfront Avenue. You can kind of see over the dunes or plants or whatever, the beach. In fact, if I stand up, you can kind of see the ocean horizon out there. This used to be one of my favorite drives, just cruising down to A1A and being able to look out and see the ocean on the way. It's a totally different riding experience versus ripping through mountains or hill country on a crotch rocket where you're just blazing. This is definitely a much more relaxing pace. There you can see the ocean pretty well. A few boats out there. Waves crashing in. There's Caps. You can tell with a little castle there. Caps was actually my first date with Sunshine. April 13th of 2008. God, that's hard to believe. 17 years that's been. The old jail. Some little touristy things. There's the Fountain of Youth. I actually drank from it many years ago, and clearly it didn't work for me, so I'm thinking it's just a tourist trap. But in theory, this is where Ponce de Leon claimed he found it. If I remember right, I think St. Augustine is actually the oldest standing American city. I guess I'm getting old. I'm starting to sound like Cliff Clavin. Little downtown area. Oh, there's St. George's Street right there, I think. Yeah, that should be St. George's Street right there. Just a lot of cool little shops. Very old-timey design and that. Old-time fort, Spanish fort, I believe. Little trolleys taking tourists all over the place. And somewhere in there is the gallery where I met her. It's where she was working. Folks and I walked back outside, and I thought, you know, you can't wait and hope things happen. You got to make them happen. So I went back in, got her card, and emailed her a few days later. And like I said, met at Caps for that first date on the 13th. This is kind of a cool road. I don't know if this is that popular canopy road or not, but it's kind of got a canopy feel to it. You know, all the trees just hanging over the road. Been going through some kind of swampy areas too, so I'm hoping maybe I'll see a gator crawl out or something. That'd be kind of cool. There's the Daytona Speedway. Sorry, Daytona International Speedway. I went to, was it a NASCAR or something, whatever, the 4th of July, Pepsi 400 or something. And then the Rolex. That year I won the free tickets through the Cadillac Club and came out for that. It's kind of cool. Very familiar with Daytona Beach, Florida. When I started coming to Jacksonville for work and then ended up moving here, I think it was 10 years that I probably came to every Bike Week and Biketoberfest event. And that time, maybe I skipped one because of the heart surgery or something, but spring break before that.
I finally arrived in Port Orange for the stem cell treatment. So started out with the NAD, which makes you feel like you've been run over by a truck, basically. Then all the other magic stuff, including stem cell infusion. Basically, I'm throwing everything science has to offer at this carcass in hopes I can make it last a little longer.
Just finished getting my stem cell treatment. Headed to the hotel in Daytona Beach, and felt like almost every other stop, sky opens up on me right before I get to my destination so I can be soaking wet. But anyway, looking forward to getting into the hotel, meeting cousin Dave and AJ for something to eat.
My main goal this morning is I really wanted to drive this bike out on Daytona Beach. There are a lot of beaches in this country, and very few of them actually allow you to drive on. Daytona Beach is one of those. In fact, the guy that started Hawaiian Tropic down here in Florida got so rich he bought the Lamborghini Countach, the actual Lamborghini that is in the opening of the Cannonball Run, and he used to drive it out there on the beach and take pictures, just living his best life out there. Doesn't take long for it to clear the clouds though and start heating up the area. Breathing in that fresh sea breeze. Ah, look at that sun. The sun, the palm trees, very Florida. Seems like I'm always just focusing on getting the next task done, and something like this, it's nice to just stop and enjoy the scenery. Look at the ocean, look at the sky, look at the sun. Just relax, breathe, enjoy it. I haven't been as good about it in the past, but I'm really trying to be better these days. Just as time gets more precious, every day is more valuable, and I have to enjoy it more. Motley Crue lyrics say, tattoos and black, I guess I don't know, black hair, dark mane's flowing, every day is a holiday. There's the Boot Hill Saloon. Boot Hill's kind of the last one on this strip going away from the beach. As you come back closer to town, you've got all the staples for Bike Week and Biketoberfest, the hangouts. They got some of the bars have changed hands year over year, and others, like Froggy's, have been the same place as long as I've been coming here.
Flew to the starting line to race coast to coast. Fastest two wheels is what I would boast. A challenge I'd love, not a chore. I met the man I'd beat, Speedy Gary Orr. Needed more skills in bike racing school, not just a rush.
Uh-oh. Fuck. Oh, it's just too wet to do this, and I slowed down. Oh, shit. Come on, can I rock it out? Dun, 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 dun. Florida man to the rescue. Thank goodness my Florida brethren. This dude's willing to dig in his feet and help, thank fuck. Push, man, push. Come on. There you go, bro. Come on, it's moving, it's moving. We're going. All right, cool. I'm gonna get across from there. Man, thank you, Florida man. Out of the water, back on the dry shit out of there. Florida brethren saved me, thank goodness. Appreciate that guy. I wish I could buy him a beer, but if I stopped to do that, I'd just get stuck again. There was no cool footage of me riding along through the water right at the edge on the beach, getting splashed up on. It was just me getting stuck in the sand and getting saved by a local. Nothing hurt but my pride. Just another experience in this big adventure. It's time for a swim to not only try to stretch out all the knots in my body from the ride, but also to try to wash away the humiliation of getting stuck earlier. And while I'm out here, I might as well soak up some of that warm Florida sunshine. After being lazy at the pool and something to eat, it's time to walk off my lunch along the beach. My legs are just a little bit more built than these guys, so hopefully I can stay stable here. It's like life. You have the option. You can stand out of the water and hope you're going to be stable, but eventually the water comes looking for you. Or you can just get in the water Start to learn how to stabilize yourself, and you're going to probably get farther that way. I found some cool plaques along the boardwalk here, all about kind of racing history in the sand. I know Florida law requires that you always have a wife beater on hand, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this one from the beach away because I won't need it because I'll be leaving Florida tomorrow. Won't need this in Iowa or Colorado.
Sunshine had been there when I needed her, just a few months after we met, actually, when I went through that first open heart surgery. Then the tables turned when Sunshine needed me when her health was poor. And it was brutal watching somebody so full of life that just wanted nothing more than to be happy and see the people around her happy, to, you know, just start to slowly lose her mind, her physical strength, her physical energy. When I watched her take her last breath and felt that last heartbeat in her wrist as I held her hand at the end, you know, part of me died right along with her that day. After sitting there for 2 hours with her after the fact, feeling her body get cooler and talking to her like an insane person, and then kissed her cold lips goodbye once more, and rode the motorcycle home in the cold November rain. Dogs are just amazing creatures. Baron never looked at me with pity or judged me as I fell apart daily. It was just a mess for months after losing her. Well, Baron was just there when I needed him, and he was always eager with wagging tails and big golden eyes, ready to do whatever when I felt like it. I could be sitting on the couch eating, it could be watching movies, eventually like going to run errands. I took him everywhere I could. And eventually, you know, when I started going out to, you know, get something to eat, just to get out of the house, you know, which felt like a tomb, obviously, at that point. You know, he was always there, ready for an adventure. He didn't feel completely alone because everywhere I went, I had my best friend right there, begging for food usually, right at my side. So not only did it make the grieving process just a little bit less painful, but it really strengthened that bond between us in a way that I never would have otherwise realized.
In each heart, 'cause dying is the easy part.
BARONS. I'm officially cruising out of Daytona Beach. It was a nice day, besides getting stuck in the sand. And again, thanks to my local Florida brethren for helping me get unstuck. That was nice. Otherwise, I'd have been kind of screwed with a capital F. I know a lot of motorcyclists and road trippers don't like interstate. They would rather take any road than the big highways. And normally, I would agree. I would much rather be cruising on A1A right now, watching the sunrise over the ocean, kind of having to make a decision if I want to get all the stuff done I want on this trip. I may not be able to take the fun roads and have to kind of stick to a lot of what road gets me there faster, which is fine. I'm still out on the road. Beat sitting on the couch watching TV. Excess is best is the Florida model, apparently. Even with no parking signs. Already coming into Jacksonville. I've been chewing up the white dots on this highway like Pac-Man snorting gator tails. Just stopped at the station there. I got a bit more fluids, protein bar. Protein! And I got some icy hot to put on the shoulder, back, whatever up you call it. So we'll see if that makes a difference. As I leave my home state of Florida, I'm still not really convinced what the right answer is. I kind of thought maybe I'd just move to Florida and, I don't know, get a condo in Lauderdale and spend my last days at the beach. And because I was born in Lauderdale, there's kind of an element of completing the circle of life, kind of end where you started. There's things I miss about Florida, but there's also a lot I love about Texas. And I have a house where I can keep all my cars and bikes and tools and guitars. So if I were to move into a condo somewhere for simplicity, it means I probably couldn't have all my toys either. But at this point, any move I make is probably going to be the last chance at it. Hopefully clear on out of the city very soon and have some breeze again. Gotta get some wind time, brother.
Home was no more, and every new place felt a temporary structure in which I dwelt. Nothing permanent.
Just leaving the hotel in where I'm at, Kennesaw, Kershaw, something by Marietta, Georgia, just north of Atlanta, wherever that is. The shoulder feels like I've got a Rambo knife stuck in it, but this is what makes a motorcycle ride great. Man, Tennessee is just a beautiful area. Actually, this whole Smoky Mountain area really is. The Carolinas, Kentucky, northern Georgia. Soaking in this kind of scenery makes you not only kind of forget just the immediate pain like the shoulder or the lower back, tailbone and all that nonsense, but just everything else, all the bullshit with the doctor appointments and the financials. Moments like these are what makes it all worth it, because right now all that really matters is riding this bike through some of the most beautiful scenery in the country. Nothing else matters. Smoky Mountains have some of the most gorgeous roads for riding bike. The Dragon, of course, being the most famous one. I only rode it that one time and rode 8 hours from Jacksonville to Franklin, North Carolina. And within 40 minutes after leaving the hotel, I had my bike, that old Aprilia, standing next to a tree, leaned up against it, about 20 feet down the side of a mountain. First experience in the mountains, so not too surprised I ended up crashing. And then I did go off the Dragon once the next day, but fortunately didn't cause any damage that time. The Dragon is a phenomenal road. I think it's 310 turns and like an 11-mile stretch.
Maybe the stops and stays are homes. Maybe they're just stepping stones. Maybe home is the road we've seen. Adventure journey, the in-between.
Hello. I'm gonna go in and check and make sure they've got a room, but yeah, I plan to stay here.
That next decade with Baron was just a constant adjustment to trying to navigate through the emptiness now that there was no more sunshine and it was just him and me.
We have this chat without a word. I know you're hungry.
A few years ago, I bought an inflatable paddle board that had a seat, like a flip-up seat, that I could sit back there and paddle, and then put a little mat down in the front where he could sit up there and perch. Something we both really enjoyed we could do together. Baron kept doing our kind of annual summer road trips to Colorado like we'd done with Sunshine. At some point, we started doing December trips to Florida too, kind of when I had my Christmas vacation, just get away for the holiday, and we'd get out there, and the weather wasn't really beach weather in Florida in December, but it was cooler than summers, obviously. But we'd try new restaurants and some yummy food and new hotels, like the one in Lauderdale where splurged a little bit, got one where we could actually wake up and see the ocean right out the window from the bed. Over that time, Baron and I kind of aged in sync, really. We both got gray in that period, and I still felt damn lucky to be able to have my best friend by my side to grow old together with.
Have a good one, Rocco. Just leaving the Virgin Hotel in Nashville. I really like that hotel. Nice place, friendly staff. Had to kind of laugh. The valet guy said, hey, you're not the guy that had the cross-country motorcycle record, are you? I chatted with him about bikes for a little bit. They had like a live mic event at the hotel, so saw some performers playing guitar and singing. I am really glad I stayed here for the night. It was just cool hotel, cool city, fun stuff. Very good experience overall. Last time I was here, I spent a lot of time walking around like these studios and stuff, which was pretty cool. It's kind of neat, the guitar setup. Oh, that's beautiful. Walking into the Kid Rock bar last night, it was busy, but I was able to get a table where I could see the band and everything. The music was good. They were playing, stuff I recognized, fun music. In between sets, they played Kid Rock music, and some of his early stuff was a little bit rappy for me, but definitely enjoy most of his music, especially as he's gone on through his career. So it was kind of cool to see his bar there in Nashville, and good service staff, the food, and just something about sitting there listening to the music. It just really struck me as feeling right, right with the world. It's kind of like on the bike sometimes where you get in that mode where you forget about what hurts and all the horse shit you got to deal with back in reality, and just kind of enjoy being in your own world for a minute in that experience. That's what makes life worth living. And now, being out of the city of Nashville proper, I get to enjoy a beautiful ride on the motorcycle, the sunrise shining over the beautiful Tennessee scenery. It's amazing how once I got out of Tennessee, the landscape completely changed from all these lush trees along the roadside to whiskey signs and farm ground. I gotta believe that's one of the biggest exports from the state of Kentucky is bourbon. 5-6 years ago probably. Buddy had a 40th birthday, so a bunch of us went up there and did the bourbon tour. And then last year, Baron and I did a road trip again to Louisville and went to the Kentucky Derby. Well, Baron didn't go to the Derby, I did, but I met my buddies from Iowa State up there and had a good time. Ever since retiring and going through all this, it's just amazing how much clarity you get in what's really important. All I need to be doing is enjoying every day. And that, my friends, is why I'm out on this motorcycle doing a spirited pace across the state of Kentucky on a sunny day with blue skies. This doesn't get much better than this. Well, crossing the Mississippi for the second time in August. This time going into St. Louis. Oh, there's the arch over there. gotta pay attention and not miss my turn. Be like Clark Griswold needing to get directions, and don't want this bike to get any vandalism like the family truckster queen. Next exit will be 61 Hannibal, as in Lecter. I ate his liver at the sight of fava beans in a fine Chianti. Machines like this were not designed to cruise at 15 miles an hour or crowded areas where everybody can see you. They're made to be ridden, driven if it's a car.
On urge for two wheels, freedom's the appeal. Speed was in my blood. Fuel started to flood my veins and pushed hard to flip that Joker card. Fuck how dangerous.
Cars and bikes are made for riding and driving. That's what they're here for. That's what joy they really bring us. The kind of person that buys a high-performing motorcycle or car and has never broken the speed limit on it or driven sideways around a corner is the same kind of person that would have a hot girl and avoid her 1 week a month. You might get a little dirty, but fuck it. Ride in the mud, fuck in the blood, cherish every experience life offers you.
Animals take no break, a jumping 7-point buck. Wrecked out, thought I was fucked. Fatal crash survived, but I left the scene. Fuck it, this man bought a faster machine. Failure in the heart.
You can also tell we're back in Iowa with the come and go fucking gas stations. Yeah, we'll go ahead and just cruise in here.
5,000 miles rode like a champ.
By Marriott.
Spot trip for the style line fiend. Nothing fucking stops this man and machine.
It's been 2 days since I had to put my best friend down. Hardest decision I've had to make. But it was his time. The hardest part was just watching him try to get up off the ground. And it wasn't just the slippery wooden floors. I tried the different grippy shoes and everything. It was, even in his bed, he struggled to even lay down sometimes, but getting up was really tough. And his quality of life just wasn't what it used to be. But 14 years old, that's 98 human years. I knew it was important that I was there for him at the end, and without knowing how much longer I'm going to be here, besides it just being time for him anyway, that was kind of the deciding factor. His last night, I grilled a couple steaks, and we had those outside, and went for a walk and took him for ice cream. And the next morning, he didn't even want to go for his walk, which was first time ever. And he didn't even want his morning treat, which was, again, very strange. It's almost like he knew. But when the vet got there, I put the blanket down on his bed for him. And this was the blanket when Sunshine was in hospice. And I laid it down in his bed, and then the vet gave him the sedative to kind of slow him down, and I just held a jar of peanut butter for him and petting him, and he just licked the peanut butter until it slowed down, and then he just laid still. She administered the poison or whatever that stopped his heart. You could see the tip of the ears were bouncing with his heart until they stopped.
fucking sucks.
And whatever I had left for his soul got carried out with this furry little carcass that day.
That depends on your point of view. Did I act to end your
I'm
life?
on a short fuse here, so I got up early yesterday, went to the gym, took the motorcycle for a ride.
Your last breath release.
I also started cleaning out the house. I put all his beds, leash, toys together, and right now I'm hauling him up to the German Shepherd Rescue, which is the organization where we adopted him, and I'm going to donate all that stuff so that other dogs and dog owners can use it. Aaron's clock ran out. Mine hasn't quite yet. So I got to keep living for every day like it's the last until the day I get back with him in sunshine again.
All right. Leaving Iowa City. Nothing too eventful, but had an awesome meal last night. Wasn't too much going on downtown last night, but it was still a nice little area. Midwestern states like Iowa have always been just friendly, helpful, laid back, kind of down to earth folks, which I always really liked about it. It's a little bit simpler that way, and it's kind of more open road. It's not so crowded, it's cheaper to live. For me, it was the fucking cold. I do not like going outside in 30 below weather, wondering if my damn car that I had plugged in overnight is gonna start or not. Especially being a bike guy, there'd be snow on the ground, your face would go numb pretty soon, and then you'd stop eventually and need to hold your hands over the exhaust pipes and thaw them out without burning through your gloves. We didn't have fancy heated grips and seat like nowadays. I was riding my Harley one night, sometime between Christmas and New Year's, and it was in the evening, and it was just starting to sleet a little bit. And all I had on was a long sleeve shirt. I just went out on the highway for a little stretch, and the cop, who was a buddy of mine, pulled me over and gets out. He said, "Damn it, I told you not to drive that thing when you're fucked up." I said I wasn't. I was just taking it around the block to, you know, get all the seals and gaskets a little bit of oil on them and keep them sealing so I don't have a bunch of leaks in the, well, more leaks than normal in the spring. And he got kind of confused, and he looks at me, he goes, "Well, you're just a dumbass. Get your fucking ass home." But that's a prime example of just growing up in more laid-back Iowa. Maybe I shouldn't use the word grown up. Part of being raised in laid-back Iowa. When they talk about corn as far as the eye can see, that's exactly what they mean. Everywhere. Just filled up my massive tank with 87 octane. I can't believe that's the highest. It's the only option. No ethanol or ethanol, 87 octane. There's something really pure and simple about these farm homes, the acreages and that. Most of the land is used for crops, rightfully so. If you've got animals, then you have a place for those. And the acreage usually has a house, simple and functional. It's got a big old shed for all the farm equipment to work on and store it, keep it out of the elements. And then whatever other little buildings you might need out there, but there's no HOA to tell them that their weeds are over 6 inches high in their front yard or the grass is dead like where I live. It's not the latest model Lexus SUV in the driveway. The farmers' wives probably don't bitch if they don't get a $5,000 Coach purse for their birthday. just simpler, and there's a real goodness that comes from that that's genuine. So I once blew up my Harley at the top of this crest, had to push it back there to my cousin's house, 2 in the morning, leaving the bar. Doors were open, they were out partying yet. I just pushed it into the house, or pushed it into the driveway, and called Mom and Dad and told them to come pick me up the next day. Won't do that kind of things nowadays, and especially in the city. And this is the little town of Brett, where I spent from age, 6 months to 24 years old when I got out of college, and then moved to Texas.
Why is grass green? Why is the sky blue? And why is water that same color too? Questions are basic when you're still young. Adults know answers that roll off the tongue. How did Pinocchio become a real boy? Will Santa bring the new Star Wars toy? There's day and night, is there no in between?
It's your last ride to Iowa, little buddy. Time to go run and find sunshine. And she's up there watching. Just waiting for you, little buddy. Fuck, I miss you, little buddy. Miss you too, baby. Take care of him for us.
Why is the good in life ripped away? How will I know if I'll survive today? We learn the fragile value of life. Some questions have no answers that are right.
Poor, sad, neglected Sportster. Still sitting in the garage with, this is the Euro Red paint job I did with the Sportster Diamond Tread graphics on it. Don't know how many years of cobwebs it's had, but it's still sitting here. At dinner time that evening, I spent a little time with Sis's Newfies, even though I'm kind of afraid Cujo is going to tear my head off one of these times. Then I say goodbye to everybody and head back towards the hotel for the night. Saying goodbye to family these days is a little different because we all kind of know that it very well could be the last time. I hit the road and leave Algona, Iowa.
I get it, buddy. I get it.
I can smell that. There are 3 things I do not like to get stuck behind: a Prius, a body positivity model in tight clothes, and a hog trailer. On a bike, there is just nowhere you can hide from that smell. It is right there. Only option you've got is to put the hammer down and get around. Ooh, fresh air again. After Uncle Ike and his family moved to Fort Collins, Colorado, we drive across here from Brett several times to go visit out there. One of the best times was Uncle Joker had just got an 89 Mustang 5-liter convertible, white with a black top and red interior. Had the top down, got a nice sunburn, had some raccoon eyes. Stomped on it, had that thing to the floor, and I think out of the showroom that thing would do about 145. At the time the speedometer he had in there only went to 85, but it was well buried. was probably the summer I was 16, maybe 17 at most. I don't remember exactly what that Mustang had for horsepower. It was a little bit north of 200, but comparatively, now my Aprilia sitting in the garage, that sport bike, is 217 horsepower, moving a 400 and some odd pound crotch rocket, as opposed to the Mustang's 5-liter moving the whole car. Finally got to the Fairfield Marriott in Grand Island. Now the trick is to see if they have room for me or not. I am leaving the hotel in Grand Island, Nebraska. Just crossed the line into colorful Colorado. You can see fields of sunflowers here in Colorado greeting Baron and me. They're in the middle, and look at all those. Kind of like sunshine's welcoming us back to Colorado. Something about it. The road, the bike, the music in my ears, the fresh air in my lungs. Just makes you want to... primal scream. Look ahead, you can see a lot more of the mountains now. They're much more clear. See all the way to the top there. They're stunning just to see them even from this far away, but once you're actually riding up the mountains and they're just right in front of you, it's breathtaking. Now, Larimer County, nice individuals that gave me a speeding ticket a couple years ago. So.
Leaving trails of fire, echoed screams from tires. Fast's never enough. Please, no shiny cuffs. I see my biggest fear. Lights flashing in the mirror. The speed you're driving is obscene. Fuck your rules for a span machine.
Had to find some good local Colorado cuisine. Well, it's in Colorado. Had these made for when it's our time to go under Sunshine's tree.
2 weeks have passed now, and there's really nothing left of Barons in the house. And I did keep his last dog tag, which was actually a heart shape. And the most important thing that still remains are the 14 years of memories. That's what matters. That's what nobody can take away. With Sunshine, that was the first time I had a real knife in your gut loss, where it was someone that was in your life every day. And for me to quit feeling pain, I had to just quit feeling to some extent. Just basically disconnect. After she passed, the house was much emptier, obviously, but over time you try to fill the void with, things like hobbies and Baron, of course, being there. And when he passed, though, it was the last other living thing in that house besides me. And the house just became a building haunted by 3 ghosts, with the last one having a couple 100 pounds to lose yet. Life is for the living, though, and I have to keep doing that. Doing the things I enjoy, and spirited drives like this through the back roads. Try to fill that void. If all you do is talk and think about your disease or your trauma or whatever, you become defined by it, where that's all you are, is the bad, and that's not good. And I'll survive, because that's what I do, until the day comes where I can't anymore. That day's not here yet.
And all the ones who hurt, we leave a massive hole in each heart, 'cause dying is the easy part.
I try not to let this whole health thing restrict me any more than I have to. But after I got in yesterday, I tried to go work out. I ran out of breath so bad halfway walking down the hallway to the fitness center that I had to turn around. I could not believe how bad the breathing was now. So I was supposed to go to Christie's last night for dinner. I had to text her and say, I can't do this. I can't walk down the hallway right now. So after dinner, she came down to the hotel and brought Barron's rock and the gear to swap out. Now that is a gorgeous sunrise. I know I shouldn't be looking backward while I'm riding, but that's absolutely beautiful. Paints the whole sky. There are the mountains where I'll be riding in a few minutes. Damn, that's nice. Those colors are enough to make Bob Ross jealous.
Some days you're parched with the driest throat. Others that force your body soaked. If not from the rain, the sweat of blister and heat.
This will be a little different than blazing through here on the Aprilia or the BMW, the old BMW, but it'll still be a lot of fun. I have to remind myself this thing does not handle like a sport bike. It's very different. You can tell the elevation's getting higher because the breathing's getting worse every mile I go. I really watch for that loose gravel too at these turns. Riding streets is nothing like riding on a racetrack. It's a totally different animal. On a track, you've usually got pretty close to ideal conditions, and you can drive at that fraction of a percentage of safety factor. But on the streets like this, well, you have got to allow yourself some cushion. At any moment, a deer can jump out in front of you, can be a rock in your path, you name it.
In the helmet loved by younger me.
There's the tunnel.
Weather and traffic will be what they'll be. When you're on two wheels, you're always perfectly free.
Speaking of the devil, there's my antlered assassin buddies. So beautiful. Look at them climb that thing. Isn't that fucking nuts? Crazy. Hey guys. It's okay, guys. Where'd they go? They're there. Go ahead, guys. Climb your little rocks. I don't know how close they'll let me get to them. It's awesome. That's the most I've ever seen, and the first time I've ever seen them on the road. Go ahead, buddy. There you go. Physics does not apply to mountain goats. It's just crazy. Later, bros. Now you see why I said riding streets is way different than the track and you have to allow yourself a hell of a cushion? That's why. Even the last time I walked Baron down here, which has been a few years, it's damn hard for both of us to get back up this thing. And there's the tree. I gotta sit down for a second. Oh, God.
Well, Baron Stone is now here with Sunshines and Shia, a dog she had before I met her. Now Baron's ashes and stone are here with Sunshine. This is your last hike through the mountains, Baron. You can go find Leslie out here. She's waiting for you. It'll be about my last hike in the mountains too, it looks like. Bye, little baby. I love you. Bye, baby. I'll see you soon. Open heart surgery at an age of 34 years. I've already faced death, lucky nothing else to fear. He lost his girlfriend first, his dog now so alone. I'm so lucky I share life with the best beings I've known. He lived so healthy and strict, awful to live that way. How lucky to feel my best each and every day. So young for heart failure, dead any day, what a blow. I've had an amazing life, I'm the luckiest guy I know.
Miraculously, I survived that hike down to the tree and back up again. That was one of the most difficult things I've done for multiple reasons. The breathing is a big one. Having to put your dog's ashes where your girlfriend's ashes are is not an easy thing to do. And I'm basically staring at my own grave when I do this. When I was younger, I thought strength was something that came from lifting weights at the gym. When I started working construction, Dad told me that there was a difference between strength and being tough. But as I've grown on through the years, there's even a different kind of strength or toughness, whatever you want to call it. Watching Sunshine go through her cancer and never complain and still stay herself, and biggest concern, people around her being happy, that was strength. Watching Baron struggle to get up off the floor every morning just by pure desire to get up and go for a walk with me, that's real strength. And that's the kind of strength it takes to do things like that, to walk out to one of the burial sites of your girlfriend and your dog that meant the world to you. And knowing you're next. The big concern this morning is coming out to the bike, figuring I better check the air pressure, and it was down to 18 psi on that back tire instead of 44 like it should be. But I am leaving the city of Fort Collins and the state of Colorado for probably the last time based on how the breathing has gone here. It is disappointing to know that I'll probably never be back in Colorado again. I've loved this state, this area. It's kind of been part of my life for many years. I had a aunt and uncle and cousins that moved out here when I was in probably junior high. Sunshine's family was from Fort Collins, and then obviously both my sisters lived there for a while. And I've absolutely loved riding through the Rocky Mountains on either a motorcycle or in one of the cars. But, you know, it's just Colorado, and riding bike in the mountains is just another thing that I'm going to have to leave behind and accept. The scary part of these last couple of days is that's a bleak view into the future of what my end of life will look like. It does kind of make the sudden death daily risk the doctor told me about look a lot more appealing than going through that. It's just miserable. As the old saying goes, better to burn out than to fade away. Medical Center of the Rockies, that's where I had that first open heart surgery. And in the background, you can see the Rocky Mountains one more time. Would have been nice to get one more ride out there, shoot up to 12,000 feet again, but no use bitching about what you can't have, right? Now the sun's coming up nice and bright off that way, making a super long shadow of me with the mountains in the background. That's kind of a cool view. I feel lucky having been able to enjoy these beautiful mountains so many years. All the activities from rafting to hiking, taking Baron up and playing in the rivers and going for walks. Just a lot of adventures over the years up there. And now I can leave knowing I took Baron up one last time. His last hike in the mountains and mine as well. Finally grunted this up on the center stand, so that raising feature helps. Got Dawn and water. See if we can try to find the leak. I see, looks like a piece of metal stuck in my tire right there, but that's the culprit. Well, that answers that question. So, one last trick. Trying some super glue and see if that'll hold maybe the nail being down in further. Who knows? It's a last ditch effort, and then the last option will be to fix it flat. Roads like this are about as close as this bike's ever gonna see to the Autobahn that it was intended for. Yes, it's hot, but damn, that is about as perfect a shade of sky blue as a guy could ask for. Beautiful. Welcome to Texas. It's been 18 days, I think, since I left Texas. I just passed the border into Texas, and I have at least 600 miles before I'm home. Years ago, we left Iowa State to go to South Padre Island. We got to the Texas border, thought, yeah, we're getting close. That was 10 hours of travel. We had 10 more hours before we actually got to South Padre Island. It's a big fucking state, and we love it. Pulling into Amarillo now. Turn coming up pretty soon. There were a couple of hotels that looked reasonable. I just took the first one, so see if they're open first. Ooh, there's a little lake. Jumping in that lake right now would feel awesome, actually.
It's 4 a.m. Couldn't really sleep for shit, so I might as well head back. So I'm all packed from this final night in the hotel, and time to hit the road and get home already.
I was just beat last night. Slept a whopping 9 to 12 probably is about it. This as a lifestyle isn't working when I can't breathe. You can't do anything else. So the only thing I really can do for this is get back, get into discipline mode, get it back to where it's at least manageable and a good routine, and enjoy that as long as I can. That's my only option. I say that because yes, another option would be to just give up and lay around and let it happen now, but I don't consider that a viable option. Just stopped for hydration for me and the bike, and egg and sausage taco for myself since I skipped breakfast. The Texas sunrise is officially out. Been kind of interesting just watching it slowly fill the sky with color, chase away the dark. It's hard not to just look over there at that sunrise in awe, even though it's bright as hell and making me see sunspots ahead. Maybe that's not so bright. Just something about a Texas sunrise lighting up that big bright blue sky, gateway to new adventures. I've always loved sunrises. There's something about a fresh start to the day that comes with them. Maybe this is as close as we get to knocking on heaven's door from earth. It does seem rather fitting. You're flying through the air. You got the blue skies and cloud up ahead, sun warming you. It's only fitting that a motorcycle would be the closest way for us to get to heaven. Sunshine and Barren are the reasons that I'm as good a person as I can be while I'm still here. Not only would I want to make them proud of me, but if there's a heaven, they'll be there. I wouldn't want to end up anywhere else but with them. Finally passing back into 1604 on I-10 back into San Antonio.
Bottom heavy hourglass, there's no reset.
4789.6
I'm
miles.
all out of lives, but I'm not dead yet.
Still haven't washed the bike, so it literally has bugs from 12 different states on it. And the wheels have everything from Daytona Beach sand to dust from Georgia clay, Texas lime, and the Rocky Mountains on them.
10 years ago, the spring after sunshine passed, these lilies that had never been here before just sprouted out of nowhere. Now I know logically what probably happened was that someone had sent lilies to the house, somebody dumped the water with some seeds out here after the flowers died, and those seeds are what sprouted the lilies that I've enjoyed every spring for 10 years. And this year, the year that I lost Baron, no blossoms this year. Maybe the flowers just grew here randomly. Maybe the blossoms just didn't come out randomly this year, or there wasn't enough rain. Maybe none of it means anything. Objectively, is there anything more to life than just random occurrence and our decisions in the process? And again, I tell myself they're together now, whatever that means, in some afterlife I don't know exists. Are they really? Who knows? But again, we tell ourselves these narratives to make ourselves feel better about things. Some days we succeed, other days we just look to survive.
Now that the bike and I have both had a few days of rest since getting home from Colorado, we're heading towards Austin today to get not only the service done, but to replace that rear tire for one that does not have a nail option in it. What I didn't expect was how hard it hit me seeing the emptiness inside that house. I know that Baron wasn't going to be there. I don't know, but when I got home, the minute I opened that door and looked in the living room where his bed used to be and just saw emptiness, it just hit me like a waffle-headed framing hammer between the eyes. And every room was just the same way. And it's not just the emptiness visually, but that silence deafened even my ears, which were still ringing after 2.5 weeks on the road. Just passed through Dripping Springs a few minutes ago, and this is why they call it the gateway to the hill country, because it very clearly changes your environment from kind of outside Austin to hill country. Definitely more open area out here. Look at all that out there. Equestrian activities, ranches. I loved riding bikes in Florida, primarily going just down A1A along the coast and watching the sunrise over the ocean. You didn't have many curves besides getting on the clover leaves and seeing how fast you could take those. But moving to Texas and having the hill country is just a whole different kind of riding style. Just cruising along, enjoying the scenery. But you also have more twisties in some of these roads where you can really ride a lot more aggressive for things like the sport bikes or the fast cars or things like that. So it's just a very different style of riding. Just entered the town of Fredericksburg. You can see it's a very German town by the sign right here that says Fredericksburg, Willkommen. Driving in, almost all I saw on the highway coming in were wineries and breweries. There was a ton of them. Der Kuchenladen. German's a little rusty. I don't remember what that means. Kuchen is kitchen, I think. Right. Because it's still dark, I'm running the thermal. These are back roads to get up to Enchanted Rock, and there are definitely going to be at least deer out there, if not other creatures that I'll want to avoid. There's the Texas sunrise starting to peek out from the horizon, which I highly prefer as opposed to Bambi peeking out from the ditches. Oh man, that's gorgeous. Watch the road, but damn, that's beautiful. Man, look at those colors. Cows, those would be no good to hit either. That's the rock. Kind of hard to see through the trees, but that's it right there. All right, Summit Trail. Here's where it starts. And here we go. This is Texas, so I do have to watch for God's fun creatures like rattlesnakes, scorpions, whatever else is out here. God damn. I took that super slow. Stopped for a drink. And I'm still gasping already. Not surprised. Just reality.
Damn, that sunrise is beautiful. Just walking up a big fucking rock that gets steeper and steeper. God damn it.
Boy meets girl, 20 toes curl. We join at the heart till death do us part. Couple meets dog, they hike, swim, and jog. All glued from the start till death do us part. Too early, not right. You chase the bright light. No more gold eyes till death reunites. My boy,
buddy.
his time was
This is your last little adventure.
one last goodbye till death reunites.
This is the end for you, buddy.
Go off and be with sunshine now. And that's the end of my little buddy's life cycle. For too many years after something like this, I'd stare into the darkness, an ocean, a sunrise, the bottom of a bottle, whatever it was, looking for answers. And there were no answers. I didn't even know what fucking questions to be asking in the first place. And instead of worrying about trying to understand the past or predict the future, which I can't do, I should have just been looking at the sunrise, looking at the blue sky, whatever's in front of me, and appreciating that moment, because that's really all we have. There's no big complex explanation for why I lost my girlfriend or why I lost my dog. They were here and part of my life for the years I enjoyed them, and now they're gone. But this is the moment here and now that I have to appreciate. This is what matters today. I feel like just a shadow now. Like a ghost that hasn't quite got there.
My cardiovascular capacity is not such that something like that should even be feasible. But when you're driven by what you feel is purpose, more than just this will be fun, it changes that outlook. You just accept that, hey, this is what I have to do. It's not an option to not do it or to quit. You just do it and keep at it and win by attrition until you're at the top of that rock. After Enchanted Rock yesterday, I was completely wiped out. So just headed back, basically slept a few hours at the hotel, and then went up here to Altdorf Beer Garden for a late lunch, which is where Sunshine and Baron and I used to go after hiking Enchanted Rock. We'd go a little bit later in the morning and then be right about lunchtime when we'd get done. So it was good to have another meal there. It'd been quite a while since I'd eaten there. My body's still pretty much in knots. Small details, small prices to pay for this two-wheeled adventure I've had over the last month. Got to see so many cool things. The beauties of nature, everything from the ocean to the mountains. Unique little things you just don't see every day, and some historic stuff along the way. Hey, that rhymes. Got to try a lot of different restaurants and had everything from the massive Gulf Coast oysters in New Orleans to Texas venison and quail. Got to see my parents and sisters again one more time, which honestly I didn't think I'd be able to do. But still got to see a lot of people, and I got to meet a lot of new people too, which is always fun. It's just interesting meeting other people and hearing their stories. And
not just legends or big events, but daily life, ladies and gents, playing randoms, those in the next seat. We can all impact the people we meet.
Yeah, I got stuck in the sand at Daytona Beach because I didn't know what the hell I was doing with the enduro controls. That's on me. But fortunately, Florida Man was to the rescue and saved me there. And then the nail I caught in the back tire, but that's fixed now thanks to the Austin dealer. You know, everything from downpours of rain to 100+ degree swamp level environment. Most importantly, I did what I set out to do. I've got now Barons ashes are in place with Sunshine's ashes off a beach in Florida, in a cemetery in northern Iowa, and under a tree in Colorado, and also at the top of a big chunk of granite in the middle of central Texas. And then the fifth spot is both of their ashes are right here and their memorial tattoos over my heart. So not only do they live with me forever in memory, but physically they're right here as part of me as well. At the end, I had the honor of being there for both of them, to hold her hand and his paw and comfort them and usher them into the next life. Now that I've sort of reunited them through their ashes into the next world, my obligation on this world is complete. I don't owe anybody anything except owing it to myself to live every day to the fullest that I get. When I was a young adult, it was just me, my motorcycle, rumbling down the open road of Iowa between the cornfields, and that was perfect for me at that time of life. Years later, with Baron and Sunshine, that was my perfect life at that time. And now my adulthood has come full circle, and again, it's just me and my motorcycle rumbling down the blacktop just like before. And I'm racing my shadow, chasing the sun, feeling the warmth of it along the way, and disappearing into the horizon, both figuratively and literally in my story. It's right where I should be, right at this moment, and it's perfect for this time of my life.
I won't sit back as victim to fate. My future's not set, it's mine to create. Time is crammed with endless facts. Our details seem to fall through the cracks. Some effects big and some are small, but history includes the lives of us all.
Right now my heart is failing in multiple ways, and the doctor said that it can pretty much give up the ghost at any day at this point. So I still have the anemia from the internal bleeding, which is, again, glacially improving. I have the gastritis, basically low energy and fatigue all the time. And I am currently waiting to hear back Monday to see if the nodule they found in my stomach is stomach cancer or not. So I have to live accordingly. And hopefully the day after I get the cancer results, I'll be hopping on this thing and heading east to Florida. So my last real task in life is to scatter Baron's ashes and reunite them with Sunshine's ashes. Sure, it's frustrating to have had to give up things I love in life. You know, things like
Texas Smile or track days on that, or riding something like that very aggressively and actively in the mountains. Long drives, long motorcycle rides. I can't eat the big meals I used to enjoy. I probably used to eat too much. I haven't drank in 3 years. I definitely drank too much. And most of all, of course, it was fucking brutal to have to say goodbye to Sunshine and Baron. Knowing that my final day is just around the corner, there's a piece that comes with that of kind of knowing that I lived every day like it was my last for the day that I would be right. All of the little awesome moments make the experiences, and all of those experiences make adventures, and all of these things together are what comprise the lives that we live. And it's not just about time, it's not how many times did my heart beat, but how many beats did it skip because of some exciting moment that happened. And not all of them are going to be happy. Some of them are just plain fucking gut-wrenching. So we try to learn what we can from those challenges and move on and focus on all the good things in the big picture of our lives. To me, I've had a truly amazing 51 years of not just being alive and going through the motions, but really living, you know, every day, balls to the wall. And maybe it's not long in time, but it's so rich to me in all those little moments and experiences and adventures that make this great 51 years. Many people would consider having open heart surgery at age 34 like I had a bad thing, but to me it was one of the greatest gifts I could have ever received because of just how impactful and beneficial it was on all the years that followed after that. I learned so many lessons about perspective and improved my life in so many life-changing ways after that. And being told I was terminal a couple of years ago, that was everything short of a bow and wrapping paper as well. I was able to stop working and just focus on basically holding on to what little health and time I had left in the right way. Most importantly to me, as I look in the rear view of my life, was that I got to cherish 6 years with the most amazingly beautiful girl I've ever met, and 14 years with the best dog I could imagine. And not only did I enjoy that time with them, but I also was able to usher both of them onto the next life where they can wait for me until I join them after a few more adventures here. At this point, getting ready to ride off into the horizon, into the sunset on 2 wheels, I feel like the luckiest fucking guy on the planet for the life I've had. And I can't imagine a more beautiful end to any story than that.
If anyone lived a fuller life than I in part inspired, then I did my job on earth before my life expired. The feel of your paw, patting the bed, tells me you won on with no words said. I look at you so you know you're heard. We have this chat without a word. I know you're hungry when you stomp your paw. You get a taste, saying nothing at all. Your head nodding on an all-night drive tells me you're watching behind closed eyes. We don't need words when we have each other. Bonded to you, my little furry brother. Silently thank me or ask to throw your ball. We connect perfectly with no words at all. Your hoof while I work says it's time for your walk. I grab your leash with no need for talk. When you lay down and I hug you tight, we quietly tell each other goodnight. We don't need words when we have each other. Bonded to you, my little furry brother. silently thank me or ask to throw your ball. We connect perfectly with no words at all. I should have been gone by now, but I'm not dead yet. Had a valve leak in my defective heart. 1 foot in the grave right from the start. Third and final time my chest has been split. Sudden death any day, but I'm not dead yet. I've beaten the Reaper for so many years, but he only wins once and I fucking disappear. Bottom heavy hourglass, there's no reset. I'm all out of lives, but I'm not dead yet. My heart still pumps blood. My lungs still have breath. There's still fire in my soul, and I'm not dead yet. Twisting wrists on 2 wheels.